Good evening. I've been doing some Yari Ashigaru tests recently, and I thought I'd do a little bit of a discussion about them, how to use them, what retainers I'm using, etc. So this is the base Yari Ashigaru here, as you can see, and you can see what stats it has. It has 7 morale, which is, I believe it is 2 more than what the original base unit is without the retainers. Melee attack is still 4, but the melee defense here is 7. That is 4, like that's over double, twice what the melee defense is normally, because usually it's 3. So that is a pretty good unit, and as you can see here, it's only a tiny little bit more expensive. And as you can see here, the same the long Yari Ashigaru has insane stats as well: 10 morale, 11 attack, 21 melee defense, and for a 1029 Koka unit, that is ridiculous. So let me just show you quickly what retainers I have. By the way, I'm not all the way to 10 star yet, so I can only use 4 retainers. So I'll show you what they are quickly. So as you can see here, I've got Untrained Fugu Cook. This is minuses 2 melee attack to all enemy swords. This is a really useful retainer, and I use this anyway usually anyway. Usually anyway. How many times did I say anyway and usually just then? Anyway. Right. So yes. So this basically nerfs the enemy swords, obviously, and swords are the most effective unit against Yari spears. So basically I'm trying to nerf them down so they're even less effective against the unit that I'm going to use most. As you can see here, I've got Yari Master, which adds 2 melee defense for all spear infantry, and Yari Ashigaru is a spear infantry, so adds 2 melee defense there. Add 1 morale for Ashigaru units. The reason I want this specific retainer is because Ashigaru units tend to run away quite quickly, especially against veterans and without a leader general. But I'm just trying to keep them in the fight a little bit longer. You don't want them to rout quickly, because if they rout, usually other Ashigaru units will rout with them. So that's the thinking behind there. And Way of the Eco Wiki, which is Warrior Monk and Ashigaru units command have +2 melee defense, which is the same as Yari Master, and +1 morale, which is the same as this, but is +5% recruitment cost. But to me, it's worth it. So in the end, you with all these put together, you have +4 melee defense and +2 morale. So that unit's going to stay in the fight quite a bit longer, and it's got +4 melee defense, which is pretty insane for a unit that's really cheap. So the thing is, the more of these units that you, even with the 5% increase, the more of these units that you have, the more useful these retainers are, because as you can see, there's more and more stats being added to your army without really any cost being added on. So that's the thinking. If it I unlock the next rank, there might be another retainer I'd want to use, but I'd probably use Trading Post just so I can field more units. Right, so let's go over some complementary units. So what I've liked to do, I have a couple videos already of, well, I don't know why I deleted that. Let me get it back into my army. I have a couple videos on YouTube of me using the Yari Ashigaru, these Yari Ashigaru armies, and I've got quite a few heroic victories with them as well. Anyway, so each time I pretty much use a matchlock. I have a matchlock at the front, and I have I try to draw the enemy into a charge, essentially, so I get them to charge straight on into my spear wall, which is another point. When I use the Yari Ashigaru, I pretty much always try to get them into spear wall. I've noticed on campaign especially, it makes them incredibly difficult to penetrate, and they just kill so many without many people dying. So I guess I'm not sure exactly how morale works in this game, but I've seen whole armies just rout in front of me with a lot of men there, because it looks like they're losing men at an alarming rate, but I'm not. So I think that has a morale hit where they're losing so many of their men, but I'm not losing any of mine. So anyway, that's essentially what I use. I use Spear Wall, and it's very effective, especially with long Yari Ashigaru. It can rack up hundreds of kills. I've seen it do it before. I have videos where it has happened. So complementary units, matchlocks, bows, kind of, but matchlocks more, because they kind of get the enemy to charge or the opponent to charge if they're not so smart, or if depending on whatever playstyle they're using. I like to have cheap swords, so I had a video where I use sword attendants, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It depends on what funds you're using or what funds you have. Well, I like cheap swords to go along the flank and do hammer and anvils and just surround the enemy. So that's what I like to have, like a few swords mixed in, especially considering if the player brings other player brings a lot of swords. It's nice to have some swords to combat that. So what other units do I like to use? It's always good to have a bit of cavalry, but that's not necessarily important. What general should you have? I recommend a general with quite a few leadership stats, because this Ashigaru army, as I said, has quite low morale, even though we've upped the morale quite a bit, or by 2, and that would be an upgrade that I'd recommend as well, morale straight away with these Ashigaru units. But yeah, a leadership general where it tells the units to stay and fight, that will be so beneficial, because the stats are actually quite high. It's just the morale of these guys can be easily shaken. And that's another thing, you want to try to avoid missile fire, so it might be beneficial to bring a Naginata attendant unit, or if you're alright with it, because the Yari Ashigaru still are quite cheap, you could probably put one of those in loose formation and use that as a meat shield, but you really don't want to get these guys under missile fire, because they have got stats that can do damage, and you want them to be involved in the engagement. So yes, that's what I'd recommend with that one. What next? Okay, so the best funds for this, I wouldn't recommend using these retainers in a large funds battle. Small and medium funds, small mainly, medium you can get away with it, but large funds battle, the veterans are just going to be too powerful for these Yari Ashigaru. Their morale will be just too much for them, and in the end the Yari Ashigaru will break. Not only that, it would be a lot more beneficial to have retainers that increase other units, because these aren't retainers that I'd use all the time. This is just while I'm testing around with this army. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Keep out of missile fire because their armor's low, but I think I said about that. What upgrades would I recommend? So let's have a look at my one of my veterans called Stabio Nan. Pretty creative. So as you can see here, I've done morale, melee attack, defense. That's kind of where I'd put it mostly. You don't really need bonus versus cav, because they've already got very high bonus versus cav. Speed, again, I just can't. I can't think of any situation where this would be cost effective, and again with fatigue resistance, it just doesn't seem viable. If you're in sustained combat, your opponent's in sustained combat, and they're both getting tight, it just doesn't seem worth it for me. For the extra 50, it's not worth it. What I would go with first is morale. Then I'd probably do a couple melee defense. Then I'd probably leave it at that. Although you could go again with more melee attack, get the melee attack up as well, and have a unit that has more killing power. But with the clan skill upgrades, morale again, just morale. In fact, I can't upgrade this one any further, but let me see if I upgraded this one with morale. Yeah, as you can see here, morale, melee attack, melee defense, morale, and it has 9 morale, which is pretty decent, because if we look at this Yari Samurai, which is slightly cheaper than this Yari Ashigaru I have selected, has 10, but it is a Samurai unit. But as you can see here, it has a lot less. It has less melee defense and a lot less melee attack. Well, a lot less melee defense and some less melee attack as well. So yeah, with the retainers, you have to understand that these retainers, it shows the stats with these retainers, but I'm sure you know that. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say really with those. So just morale, that is what you need to think about. You don't want missiles in them. You want to try and make sure you get into spear wall before you get into any combat. Make sure you bring some units for some manoeuvrability, and yeah, don't bring a complete spam. So I'm actually going to search for an opponent with these. If it's large funds, I probably won't play it, and I'll have to record a different battle to go with this video. But if it's medium funds or small funds, I will go ahead and just play this battle and give you a bit of a demonstration on how I would use the army. So let's hopefully see if we can actually get any players. I'm hoping there's people on at this time of night. I'm not sure if this is the actual player list. It can't be. There can't be no one online because there's 2 people in this room. I'm not sure what the best time of day to play this game is at the moment for me. Usually it's early afternoon, evening. Oh, there is an opponent. And it is small funds, Raptidon, Saga River. So yeah, I think this will be a map that I can use this on pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my long Yari Ashigaru because for the price that is an insane unit. Thing is, I haven't got that many funds left, so I don't think I'm going to go for my veteran Yari Ashigaru. I'm going to try and get another veteran if I can. I'll go with 3 of those because you can get quite a lot for the price, and as I said, the stats, the more you get, the more worth it the retainer is. I wouldn't mind a matchlock, but I just need a normal matchlock Ashigaru. It doesn't need to be very good because that's not where my killing power is. 915. I wish I had enough for a 900 Yari Cav. Well, actually, no, I can go for an unvetted Yari Cav. They are 900, yeah. Okay. So I have my Bow General, Yari Cav to kill, and then, yeah. I'm pretty happy with this army. Actually, shit, I'm not happy with this army. I did want some swords, because that's what I said. I'd like to take a decent sword attendant. So, let's see what sword attendant I have. Let's take a 250 rank one. Melee defense is slightly higher. Maybe a 351, I can actually afford it. 320. There we go. I'm not sure there's anything that I could do that would be any more cost effective. It would be quite useful having that Yari Cav, but oh shit, it was a Naginata attendant that I bought, not a sword attendant. I am an idiot. Don't do what I just did. Make sure you bring that sword attendant or lone sword Ashigaru or something. Just one sword. Get into their spears, get it to oppose their other swords. Just take a sword unit. Trust me, having more options in your arsenal is better. And as I said, Yari Ashigaru are cheap enough where you can get quite a few and still have other units that are decent and helpful as well. I'm hoping this guy hasn't brought a bit of a troll army with mounted gunners and things, because, well, I guess my general is good enough. I'll have to see anyway. My opponent's obviously quite new. What's he played? Bad Omen. -1 morale to enemy Ashigaru unit, so that's actually a really, inadvertently he's managed to pick a really, I'm not sure if he's expecting me to play Ashigaru, but yeah, that's really clever. I want to go for this sword dojo. If he's smart, he'll be going for it too. I'm going to have my Naginata attendants at the front. Usually I'd have my sword attendant somewhere behind, but I may as well have them as a meat shield at the front, in front of my matchlocks. Let's get our matchlocks up, so he'll probably want to charge. Get our 4 Yari Ashigaru behind that. Let's keep our general with our light cav so they can support each other. I haven't really got any leadership. I think I've got like 1 point in rally. So I haven't really got any leadership things, so having my army apart from my general isn't going to affect it too much. So yeah, I haven't actually followed one of my own advices, or some of my own advice, but I didn't really want to spend the clan tokens on going into a leadership general, so I'm just going with. That's another reason why I wanted the extra morale. As you can see here, they've gone down to 6 because of his bad omen. Really unhelpful that, but our long Yari Ashigaru should hold out. Alright, let's have a look at what army he's got. So he's got 1 unit of spears, which is Yari Samurai, 2 Katana Samurai, which hopefully my cavalry can take care of, 2 Bow Ashigaru, and a Yari cavalry. So let's see if we can't tempt his Yari cavalry into a premature charge, take care of them, and then we'll basically harass him. Hopefully we'll try and force him into going into combat early with me. Looks like he is bringing his cavalry across pretty quickly, so I'm just going to wait here for him. In fact, I'm going to go forward and take some shots on this general. Let's start running them. Actually, I'm going to bring my light cav over here. His bow cavalry's coming across. He has another Yari samurai up there. Let's just get some shots off. Then we'll bring it back before he gets any shots off on us. I think we lost a couple there. Yep, 2. That's fine. He's actually doing a charge. If he wants to charge in, he's going in wedge formation. Let's take the initial charge and then bring our light cavalry in afterwards. There we go. I'm actually going to bring my matchlock up here a little bit and bring my Yari Ashigaru behind. We should make short work with that Yari cav with my general and the light cavalry combined. Actually says we're losing slightly, but that's fine. He isn't going to survive much longer. Let's see if we can get some shots off on this Yari samurai. And bring our Naginata attendant forward as well to draw fire from his bows. There we go. Got our matchlock. He's in range. Let's see how many kills we get. 17, 23. Okay, let's move these guys back. And these guys back. In fact, I'm going to move them over here. And if he's going to... think he's going to charge, let's go into spear wall and guard mode as well. It's important you do guard mode when you go into spear wall. Looks like he's coming round for our guys, but that's fine. If he wants to have that little overlap, I'll just shoot the shit out of his guys. I was going to turn off fire at will, but it's fine. It's just I really don't need that Yari Ash. As you can see, our Yari Ashigaru is winning decisively. There we go. Just in spear wall. Okay, let's bring our matchlock Ashigaru round. Start using our general to take some shots off on those Katana Samurai. And in fact, we might actually start wrapping that light cavalry round because... Right, let's get these guys into spear wall. It's a bit annoying that our long Yari Ashigaru is over there. We kind of wanted that more central. But we're probably going to win this anyway. I'm just going to... As you can see, we're still winning. Our unit is winning. This is a stock Yari Ashigaru against a Katana Samurai. We don't even need to rally our units. I didn't even have time to do my light cavalry charge. So it's almost too easy. Alright, let's bring our guys back over here. I'm going to take these guys. That's another important thing that I also forgot to mention. So it's kind of important. A good thing that I managed to right. It's a good thing that I'm doing this battle. You should always have your units in guard mode as well in spear wall. I don't know why, it just seems to keep them in the fight, stop them from moving. As you can see, this Katana Samurai is losing. We've got 2 Yari Ashigaru here, and our Yari Ashigaru here isn't actually winning because I took that out of spear wall, this one here. But one of his guys is routed already, and I'm going to get a hammer and anvil. Oh, and he's left already, and I've got a heroic victory, which is another heroic victory using the Yari Ashigaru. Let's see what kind of kills we got compared to the losses. I'm expecting that one in the bottom right that I just had out of Spear Wall against the Yari Samurai to have quite a lot of losses because it was out of Spear Wall. But when it's in Spear Wall and guard mode, there's almost it's almost impenetrable. And a bit more water there. So yeah, that's kind of just shows how effective this is. My opponent rage quit already, and he knew there was pretty much nothing he could do. And the thing is, I find this, I do enjoy playing this, and it is kind of fun doing something different, but it's not my play style. Spear Walls, the thing about it, having to get them in Spear Wall, it takes time to get them in Spear Wall. You can't really do like proper good charges. They can't run while in Spear Wall, so you have to take them out of Spear Wall. It's a lot of micromanagement, and that's another reason why in large funds it's not really that viable, because you have to keep on turning. Excuse me. Have to keep on turning off Spear Wall and turning it back on. As you see here, I've got a veteran, and I'll just show you that I am going to have it as a slightly higher morale. So I'll just call it. Yeah, what was I going to say? You weren't expecting that, was you, mate? You weren't expecting that. That's what I'm going to call it. Right. Kills. My light cav got a lot of kills, but that was against. That was because. Did I actually? I must have managed to get into that charge in the back then. I don't remember if I did that or not. Everything kind of just goes at a blur, but that's pretty good. But as you can see here, my Yari Ashigaru that actually became a veteran only lost 44 men, got 104 kills, and I guarantee you loads of those were Katana Samurai. Then as you can see here, 66 lost, 71 kills. This long Yari Ashigaru lost one. So if you have the long Yari Ashigaru in this army, that long Yari Ashigaru, as long as you get the opponent face on, it's almost invincible. 62 kills, 1 death. 1. Matchlocks did 59. Matchlocks I didn't expect to do that much killing power. He didn't actually have much of an answer for my Matchlocks, and I microed them well. So Bodyguard also did pretty well. Another Yari Ashigaru, he lost a lot. This is probably the one that I did not manage to get in Spear Wall in time. And my Naginata attendants I didn't even need. So as you can see, yeah, he lost pretty handily. Let's see how many I deployed with more, which is actually quite rare for a player with this many stars to deploy with more. But obviously I'm using Yari Ashigaru. Killed twice as many as he killed. And I used crap Yari Ashigaru. Anyway, so hopefully you learnt something. If you have these retainers, try it out. Please don't try it out on me because you'll probably win. But thank you for watching. Goodbye.